I dropped one. Found it. This is a little more difficult with the tire being so close to the edge of the trailer. Now I gotta get it down. It's not the end of the world, it's just more difficult than I would like it to be. Ow, my toe. When you take your brake drum off, go ahead and check your wear patterns on your pads to see what might be wore out, what might need to be replaced. Check your S-cam when you get this off. Also, easy way to get the springs off, flathead screwdriver. Watch how easy this is. I usually like to do the bottom one. Boom, done. If it doesn't come out all the way, you just push on it or pull on it, and it comes right off. Also, don't be a moron like me and forget to loosen the S-cam like I did on the last one. Here's a prime example. Let's see if you can see this. Yeah. See how it's like you got some thickness here, but you go to the other side and it's not the same. It's a pretty big difference. Shows you get uneven wear, which means you might have wore out parts. And in this case, S-cam's a little wore out, and well, actually these are in good shape. I'll be dang. Normally I have to beat these out. I'll take it. You guys are my good luck charm because that was a lot easier than it usually is. Normally I have to drive those out. Also, when you're pulling your brakes off, this one I already know has a leaking wheel seal. One of the reasons we're doing all this work to this trailer is because it's in bad need of maintenance. Go look behind, check your wheel seal, see if you got any fresh leaks, any wet spots. Make sure there's not any wear in here. Make sure your bushings, which I'm about to drive those out, are still there. Check your S-cam for slop. Look at your bolts. Make sure there's nothing crazy going on with them. Nothing broke, separated. And then yeah, we're ready for the next step. Where is my stuff? I find this to be the easiest way to remove these little bushings. I'm using this because it's what I had. And I don't ever use it. But if you can crease it in the middle, and it dries out pretty easy. See, look. Then you get something like this, which would be in a real pain. probably a better way to do this. This is just the way I know how to do it. And it works for me, so. Everything I'm showing is just how I do it, not necessarily the right way to do it. It's just a way to do it. Problem solved. Got her out. Now I need to go get my oil bucket. I'm going to drain this hub, pull this hub off, and pull the S-cam out. Get all the clips and stuff off of it. What if there's? Now I'm going to try not to make a mess. I've already done 4 of these, and I think I've only succeeded in not making a mess in 0 times. I don't think I've succeeded yet. Also, pro tip, one of these little tools right here for undoing the S-cam, the slack adjuster, well worth the money. That and a good set of snap ring pliers. I always think there's supposed to be more oil in there, and there is more oil. It's just in the hub, not in the cap. Because believe it or not, I check these hubs regularly. I also like to go ahead and break my bolts loose before loosening them all, before like taking them all out. I don't really have a good reason for it other than that's just how I like to do that. I'm also pretty much doing all of this work on this entire trailer with the tools that I keep in my truck. The only exception is the big impact that I take the wheels off with. That is a shop tool. Everything else is just basic hand tools, a couple of specialty tools, and a little bit of patience and knowledge. I hope my dang audio's coming through. Thought about putting my earbuds in, but I don't want to get them nasty. Also, I woke up with my dang allergies acting up. Should probably take some medication, but Mama didn't raise no wuss. I'll just sniff and snort and move on. Now we're replacing these hubcaps with new ones, but if it weren't, and you're going to reuse your hubcaps after you do your wheel seal, let me get the stupid thing back on. You're going to want to clean this face of this hubcap, otherwise it'll leak. Same with this. There's a gasket here. This one's going to be a pain. Great. Oh, no, hello, come on. Ah, crap. It's definitely being a pain, but it's being less of a pain. It sticks like this because the hubcap was leaking. And what it does is it gets this paper or a cork seal wet, and it causes it to adhere to either this face or that face. So we'll have to clean that off at some point before we reassemble everything. Check your slop. This actually feels really good. It's in decent shape, so that means we don't have any excessive wear, just based off of initial inspection. There's multiple styles of locking system for hubs. I don't particularly like this style. I think this is an older style. They've got one that's got a locking nut, instead of having 3 pieces or 4 pieces for your locking system, it's just a single nut with a retaining clip that just snaps in place. I like that way better. It's a much better system. I don't know about longevity wise, like as far as how long it lasts over the years, but rarely. All right, my hands are about to have to get dirty. I don't want to get my gloves soaked in oil. Also, remember to take off your delicate electronics before you handle this stuff. I should have already taken this off. Anything you don't want to have to clean oil out of later. My hands are clean-ish. This is the worst part, I swear it is. I have gloves. I'll be back. I forget about having these. Rude. Ugh. I didn't even think about them yesterday while I was out here doing this crap. But I'd already gotten my hands dirty, so at that point it didn't really matter anyway. Oh, we got one more clip. That is something I suggest doing when you're removing the bent over metal tabs. Feel around the nut before you start trying to loosen it. Otherwise, you'll be fighting it. I have a wrench for this. Instead of acting like a caveman over here. Ooh, paper towels. One of the things you don't want to do is introduce grit, sand, dirt, debris, particles into your hub housing, if at all possible. Cleaning through the process is super important. If you want your hubs to last anyway. If you're about to just slap it together before you sell it, well, that's on you. But a little bit of shop rag, set your stuff on, keeps things mostly clean. And we'll wipe a lot of this stuff down before we reinstall it, because once again, you don't want to introduce grit. Check for excessive wear, see if it'll tell you if there's anything happening with your, say if there's anything happening with your hub, anything you can't see or won't notice until you're going down the road. Your wear parts will tell you. That's unusually stiff. You got some thread problems on this axle tube. Should have just been able to spin right off. I don't know why. I see a little piece of wire, looks like a shaving off of the threads. Yeah, where'd you go? I just saw you. Yeah, we got some shavings off of threads. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. When you run into problems like that, just stop and inspect. As soon as I get this nut off, I'll see if it's the threads here. It looks fine. A little bit of grit. Like I said, it looks fine. Give it a little bit of a jar to help you remove your outer bearing. Once again, we'll re-clean all this once we get to that point. That little wobble will break that seal loose. You would think, with it already being leaky. All right, this is where I make a mess. Okay, that actually wasn't bad. Go away. Let that drain for a minute before I try to remove that wheel seal. So this guy right here is our problem area. See all that buildup? Let's see, you may not be able to see it, but there's a absolute crap ton of buildup on the back of that hub. And mostly it's just brake dust. Another thing, while you've got everything pulled apart, is grab another paper towel. I suggest buying a fresh roll before you start on one of these projects. Grab a paper towel. Clean off this hub, or this spindle, not a hub, spindle. Clean it off, give it a visual inspection. Run your hands over it, see if you can feel anything weird. When you're getting close to the threads, be careful because there's a keyway cut out here and it'll tear fibers off of your paper towel and then it'll get stuck in the threads. It's a pain to clean out. Just as a heads up. Yeah, there's some wear on the spindle, the bottom side. I can feel a groove where the bearing rests. Usually you'll find the wear on the bottom because that's where all the weight and pressure is. Yeah, a little bit there too. Try to clean off the seal face for the new seal. It'll save you some trouble later. We got some scarring. Interesting. That's probably why it was leaking. See if I can clean that up. Let's get some Scotch-Brite. You don't want anything too aggressive. You can also use emery cloth. I don't have any emery cloth, so I'm gonna use what I got. I don't necessarily want to sand anything. I just want to try to get rid of that sharp edge to keep it from cutting the new seal. All right, take the snap ring. I have to think about what it's called. Take the snap ring off the S-cam, then pull it out, see where it goes. I'm gonna move this first. I'm gonna set it over there. Check your grease fitting too, see if it's damaged, see if it needs to be replaced. We'll also check it before we reinstall everything. So much freaking buildup. you can get it to work out properly, you can push your old snap ring off the edge of your S-cam shaft. Boom, just like that. So that way you don't have to fight it all the way down. Come on. It may not be the only thing you have to fight though. Gotcha. Give your S-cam a visual inspection, see if there's any excessive wear. I do have quite a bit of wear on this shaft here. We don't have another one because these are special order, so it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. But at least making note of it, being aware of it, so you can watch it in the future. Once I get this about halfway cleaned off, I'll show you what I'm talking about. See if it'll come through on the camera or not. So you see the lines. You can see down that right side, there's some ridges. We don't want that. It's too much wear. It means somebody's not been greasing this thing properly. Which, in all fairness, I have been greasing it. Probably not as well as I should, but I have been using it. All right, we need to drive this seal out of the backside. See if I can get it to come out of the front. This sucks. So much easier when the seals don't exist. Got it. So we can drive that inner seal out. Some of them just break. Those are too thin. This is just driving like a shit. All right. Some pretty heavy wear. It's not the worst I've seen, but it definitely ain't the best. All right, next. Something I've noticed when cleaning out these things is a good old-fashioned plain Jane WD-40 does wonders on cleaning up the old grease and whatnot out of these fittings. Also works great for cleaning off your alamites or your grease nipples or whatever you want to call them. Grab another paper towel. Crap, I about dropped it. Well, I did drop it. But I about let it roll underneath the trailer. Should have been a pain. I'm just lazy and a little sore. I'm a truck driver, not a mechanic, so I'm not used to all this. Also, too, I'm not a mechanic. I'm a truck driver. So I do want to emphasize that. I'm just showing you how I do it, not necessarily the right way to do it. And I'm sure I'm going to say that several times throughout the video. But you know what? It's fine. All right, now where's my rebuild kit? There it is. The worst part is installing these little seals back in their spots. I had the hardest time fighting these little buggers. Getting them straight is the hardest part. Leave a comment if you know an easier way to do this. And I don't mean by spending a bunch of money on a new tool. I mean by just by virtue of doing it. Because it's like I said, it's a royal pain. I always struggle with it. Got it. I keep on, I'm gonna look like I know what I'm doing. I hate hammering like this. I'm left-handed. So the benefit of having one of these guys. I probably should clean up the end actually. Move mine. There you go. Get this grinder and clean this end up so I'm not scarring that surface. Oh, I'm standing right beside it like an idiot. Don't forget your safety squints, kids. Actually, don't do this at home. If you were paying attention, or if you could even see it, I had the sparks facing towards me to not get on the spindle because, once again, we don't want to introduce debris. Try to get on that inside edge, drive it in. Try to center it. It ain't got to be centered, but we're just trying to center it. I'm trying to center it because that's where I like it. So all I gotta say is you do you, boo. You put it where you want it. Make sure I didn't scar that up at all. Be careful when you're checking it, because if there is a scar or a splinter, like a metal splinter, go right into your finger. I definitely don't know anything about that. I've never had that happen. Not once. Never. Definitely not 3 times. 4 times. Wait. Yeah. Man, look at the wear on that. Look at that. Come on, focus. Focus. Thank you. Look at all of that freaking wear. It's awful. Doesn't come across the camera as well, but man, that is wore out. I would love to replace this S-cam. Okay, I'll pick that up right now. Clean some of this crap off. That old grease. Man, that's wore out. see if I can flip it. Oh, hey, before I do that, I need washers. Don't skip steps, kids. Don't skip steps. Those steps are there for a reason. They're important. There we go. Sometimes they get a little hard to slide on. All right, where's my other parts? Where's the thin one? That's the thick one. There we go. Wait. Wrong side. All right. I gotta have all these parts anyway. Looking for the thick ring. On this trailer, every trailer's a little different, but on this trailer, it's a thick ring to the outside, thin ring to the inside, and it spaces everything out perfectly. Also, don't be an idiot. Where's my thin one at? There it is. And don't forget to put your washer on the other side. I definitely haven't done that on 2 axles of this trailer. Definitely not. I do everything perfectly every time. I never forget things. Not once. Oh wait, I can't do that yet. Go back up. All right, I'm gonna take you guys with me, and we're gonna go inside, and we're gonna change the inside bearing, or bushing. It's not a bearing, it's a bushing. I'm an idiot. You didn't hear that? I'm not an idiot. I'm smart. Very intelligent. Definitely doesn't forget things. Where did I put my crescent wrench? I love how I just said I don't forget things, and now I can't find my stupid crescent wrench. I promise I'm competent, or at least I'm confident in my incompetence, if nothing else. It's the same thing, right? Competence and confidence, they're the same, yes? All right, let's see if I can get you guys where you can see something. Let's move you around. Ignore the shop, it's not mine. I just work here. Can you see anything? No, you can't see crap. Well, that's some bull crap. Let's adjust my little tripod. Make it a little shorter. See if I can get you on top. There's the ceiling. Better? Question mark? Yes, better. Not great, but still better. All right, I need you to turn. Well, you still can't see crap. Unless you can't see what I want you to see. Hold on, let's try this way. Oh, this is gonna be sketch. If my phone falls during this process, you didn't see anything. We can make this work. I think we can make this work. Ah, behave. Hope y'all enjoy my random commentary. Okay. All right. I don't think you're gonna fall, maybe. Hopefully. Swear to God if you fall. I'm gonna be pissed. You stay right there. Trying to be educational and junk. Well, more for entertainment than educational. I adjusted the adjustable wrench incorrectly. Are you freaking serious? All right, now. I promise I know how to work this. Wrong way. Give me that. I might actually like speed this section up, to be totally honest with you. Because this isn't really that interesting, or that like, well, I mean, I guess interesting is the right word. Fun to watch, maybe? I don't know. I may copy the section and just do it twice. Let's see which one you like better. Nah, I'm not gonna do that, it's too much work. You're just gonna get to watch me. If you don't like it, oh well. Sucks to be you, I guess. Or you could just leave the video, I don't care. I do these things for fun anyway, so. I know this looks like I fit perfectly. Oh, my nose itches. But this kind of sucks. Ruffle my chest. And ribs. I don't know if you know this or not, but steel trailers, angle iron and steel, are not your standard comfort items. Did not know if you were aware of that or not. To be totally honest with you, I don't even know why these spacers are on there. They're literally useless. They just add more weight. Well, not much weight, but they're just useless. About as useful as tits on a boar hog. Or heck, about as useful as tits on a man, honestly. They ain't got nothing but, they ain't nothing but in the way too. It's a great shot of my arm, look at that. Got veins popping and everything. Calm down, ladies. It's fine. Probably ain't even no ladies watching this. It's probably a bunch of dudes. Probably over here making fun of me right now. I mean, I'd be making fun of me too, but that's beside the point. Cannot wait for the keyboard warriors to show up to tell me on how this whole contraption is going to fall apart, because I don't know what the crap I'm doing. Which is honestly not far from the truth. More of a shade tree mechanic than anything. Best case scenario anyway. Also, when you're checking these, I don't know if you can see this one on camera, but see how much sloth that's got? That's how you check to see, because you can reach down in here without taking anything apart and pull on your S-cam and see if they're loose. And if they're loose, then you need to replace the inside and outside bushings. This is considered. I'm glad everybody witnessed my stupidity. Like, I think I'm just gonna go home now. I gotta reach down in there and grab that stupid bolt. That was so dumb. This is considered an inside bearing, by the way, to my knowledge. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on it. To those Eagle Eye bunch, they're like, oh, you didn't put your washers back on. Well, you're absolutely right, I didn't. And there's a reason for that. Mainly because they're kind of useless. There's no point in having them. I mean, there's a big thick piece of steel in between it. The only reason the washer's there is to, well, there's a couple of schools of thought on it. Where'd that stupid bolt go? There's a couple of schools of thought on the washer. One is it's to make it easier to take the, the nut off. The other one is like used as almost as a bearing to make it where you can get the actual nut tighter. In my personal experience, there's no difference. Now, if we were dealing with thinner material or a wider hole, I might put the washer on just for the additional strength. But it's really redundant on this system because everything's just so thick. That's what she said. Yeah, come here, you. There you are. Now for the fun part. Doing everything I just did in reverse. Wish I had something to stand on. Freaking sucks doing this on the trailer. Oh, and for those of you wondering, this is a booster for one of my trailers. In heavy haul, this is considered a 3+1 trailer. So you've got your regular 3-axle RGN, or removable gooseneck, is what it stands for. And then you've got your additional axle to allow more weight. So this axle carries 20,000 pounds when fully loaded. And then my trailer carries 60,000 pounds on 3 axles. In most states. It depends on your permit. Always read your permit. It's super important. Not only for routing, but for allowable weight. Any bridges you might cross, any kind of like curfews and that kind of stuff. Some counties have curfews, some cities have curfews. Heck, some bridges have curfews. There's one coming out of West Virginia. Had to think about it. Just went through there the other day too. One coming out of West Virginia, there's a bridge curfew. It's a toll bridge. They don't want you on it between the hours of like 4 and 6. Probably for like traffic reasons, for rush hour, kind of what if I had to guess. That's what I would assume. Golly, it's rough on my chest. This little piece of metal right here. You know, yesterday I was talking about, oh, I do this for fun. This is enjoyable. I'm starting to regret my statement now. Okay, the rest of it's fun and enjoyable. This part kind of sucks. Come on. It would be nice if I had a electric ratchet, but I ain't fancy like that. Well, I'll take that back. That's not true. The people that know me just laughed. It has more to do with the amount of space that I have in my truck. I don't really have the extra room to put big power tools like that. Let go. I don't know if you can see that because of that hose, but it won't give me my dang. There it goes. Give me my dang ratchet, or adjustable wrench, dear Lord. Words, English, hard. And I don't even have the excuse of it not being my first language. I was born here. Well, not in Indiana, but born in the US anyway. I honestly didn't think I could talk this much to myself. Well, I mean, I'm kind of talking to you, but. All right, one down. Reinstill this S-can. Ow. Something's pointy. Come on, let go. Just as a side note, sometimes you get hung up on your other bushings on the outside of your trailer, and you want to make sure to keep twisting it so that way you don't accidentally rip out your brand new seals, for your grease seals on the other side. This side's fine. You really don't have anything to worry about. Pretty well self-contained. But I mean, even with that wear in it, there's no slop to it in this one. You can see the difference. So yeah, we're gonna install the clips. I'm gonna bring you back to the other side so you can see. We'll reinstall the clips, finish putting the brakes on, reinstall the wheel seal. Actually, while I'm talking, I want to bring you over there. Fix my stupid tripod. This tripod is not my nice tripod, but there's a reason I'm not using my nice tripod. My nice tripod is expensive, and I like my nice tripod because it's nice. I could give a dang about this one. If this one tears up, it was 20 bucks. I get grease all over it, oil all over it, and I don't want to clean it, and I just want to toss it, and then I'm just going to toss it. All right, now can I put you back? There. see? Can you see what's going on? You're crooked. Turn. No. Okay, this is one of the reasons I don't like cheap tripods. Behave. How's that? All right, we can work with that, I think. There's a clip back here and all the junk I dumped out. What are these guys? I don't know, is that focusing? Is that focusing? Can you see that? Yeah, that guy. It goes right back behind the bushings, the washers. What are you gonna call it? Oh crap, I forgot to test my, that's fine. I forgot to test my grease fitting. Go back, spin your S-cam, double check, make sure it's seated properly. One of the things you don't want to do is not have your clip seated properly, because if it's not seated properly, it'll prematurely wear out your stuff, or it could cause your slack adjuster to slide off, or that kind of junk. But that's good. Brakes. Next step. Excuse me. Yeah. One of the problems with wearing gloves is my hands get all kind of sweaty and nasty. Golly. What they call like an ASMR. You just hear noises of things happening. Like you hear me snorting more than anything, honestly. But that's beside the point. I say that a lot. I shouldn't do that so much. New brakes, yay! New brake stuff, yay! You know, originally I was just gonna do just the brake system. And I was like, I'm already here. I'm already gonna be filming. I might as well, I've got enough battery on my phone, I might as well just do it. Put your gloves on. I would use my other cameras, but I don't want to get oil and crap on my other cameras. They're not exactly waterproof. Also, my phone is really light. The tripod I got you on, I don't trust for anything more than a GoPro. And honestly, my phone does better than a GoPro. Would you go on? Wet hands and rubber gloves are a terrible combination. Oh yeah, trick. If you blow into your gloves when they're having a hard time coming on, getting on, you can get them a little farther. Especially if you can pull it back while you're doing it. There we go. Much better. All right. One of the first things we want to do, I'm gonna pull these little springs out and get our S-cam rollers. This is what I call them. I don't know if they're the actual name, but I call them S-cam rollers. Put the little springs on there. All right, we're just gonna put that in that hand. I'm struggling here. Put the little springs on there, they just pop on. Go ahead and prep this. This one's a little bent. Sometimes they don't always come out perfect, so you kind of like gotta fiddle with them to get them right. But we're gonna do that, we're gonna set them to the side. Can you see up there? Can you see some of the stuff I'm setting up there? Yeah, kinda. Next, we're gonna separate our I call them idler rollers. I'm gonna separate these two guys out. Set them right there. These are your idler roller bushings, so things we drove out of here earlier. If you can start them by hand, do so. If you can't, not a big deal. You might have to drive them in anyway. Like that one did pretty good. That one I'm probably gonna have to drive in. Be careful driving them in. If you hit them too hard, what you'll do is you'll mushroom out the edge and it'll make those rollers hard to go in. So, I don't have a rubber mallet, otherwise I would use it. But just tap them. Be easy with them. They'll be all right. If you get brave, you can hit them a little harder. You're like, why are you hitting it sideways? Well, first off, I get more surface area. Second off, I can't hit it as hard. The energy doesn't transfer as well because it's a thinner piece of material. So a lot of reasons, but mainly so I don't hit it as hard. All right, got those in. Also turn the seam to the outside. So that way, in the event you need to replace these brakes, you need to pull those out. You can drive a piece like this on one side of the seam, collapse that ring, and it'll just slide right out. So one of the reasons I had to fight those other ones so hard is because the seam was like on the inside somewhere. All right, next. This is our main spring. These are our keeper springs for the return side. Returns for the idler side. I had to think about it. I said it backwards. And these are your spring hangers for the main spring, for the main return spring, for your S-cam spring. So the way you install these, it's kind of archaic, but it works. So you'll see two holes. This is your idler side. This is your S-cam side. The smaller side for these guys, you're gonna put it in this hole and you're gonna drive it in. One solid hit, it'll go right in. You're not hurting anything if you have to hit it 2 or 3 times. If you don't get it in all the way, like that. Of course, I did that just for demonstration. Okay, never mind. That one was also for demonstration. You didn't see that. See, look, first try. Next, what you're gonna do, be careful when you're like working in your workspace. You don't wanna set your pads down on the ground because you don't wanna get grease and oil on them. So a lot of times, I'll put mine in my lap or on my knee or however, but I'll put it on me because I'm usually cleaner than the surface that I'm working on. And I will install the roller, make sure it spins. Set it back down on its side. Same thing. I'll put it in, make sure it's seated. Squeeze these. If you can't do both sides at the same time, you can roll it. Put it in on one side, or start it on one side, and like squeeze it to you. Push it in, make sure it spins, make sure it's seated. You're good to go. So this has been replaced, that's in good condition. Now we're gonna want to put these rollers in. So, some people are gonna hate me for this, some people are gonna love me for this, but in my opinion, this is the best way to do it. And we're gonna get this stuff called anti-seize. Some people absolutely hate this stuff. I am also in the camp of absolutely hating them, but it's such a good product. It's such a good product. I hate it because it gets everywhere. It's like as soon as you open it, you're now like chrome colored or copper colored, depending on which type. So the higher heat is the silver color. It's usually a higher heat resistant. It's more expensive too. But we want to coat the inside of this liner, this bushing, so that way it doesn't seize on there in the future. So and when you need to replace them, when you need to replace this, like earlier when I pulled these two out, that was so much better than me spending the next 10, 15 minutes driving out some idler rollers. And there's gonna be some people in the comment section that'll be like, yep, he's right, it sucks. It sucks real bad. And I don't have some of the fancy tools some of these guys have. Well, I don't have them here. If I was at the house, I would be doing, I have an air hammer. I'd be using that. But I'm not at the house. One of the problems you'll run into is sometimes these things aren't made perfect. And one of two things will happen. You either can't get it started and it drives your bushing out, or they're really loose. I prefer they're really loose. All right, I'm gonna show you. We ran into a problem here, and this is a very common problem that I run into. So, looks fine on this side, but you get to this side, and you see how it didn't even come out all the way. It's like twisted. So that's an issue with that bushing. All right, I'll set you back down where you can see. There. So one of the things we're gonna do to fix that, I'm gonna drive it back out. But I'm gonna drive it out just far enough that I can drive it back in. So one of the things that helps me in these situations is a good whack. Usually I go too far, which in this case I did, but I can always drive it back. I just want to shock load that and get it through there without messing up that bushing. It's another thing that really helps with the anti-seize is if you do run into problems, the anti-seize kind of lubricates it a little bit, allowing you to be a little more aggressive with it without doing any real damage. Sometimes you can push these things in by hand. That's great. This one's being a bugger. This one's having a hard time starting. There we go. When you're driving on these things, be careful not to hit them on the edge. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to mushroom the edge. You can hit them dead center. As long as you hit them flat, you can hit them pretty much as hard as you want to. Otherwise, you take a risk of, hold on, let me find a bad one. All right, I'm looking for bad ones, and I can't seem to find one. Hold on. I'm still here. I'm looking. This one's, yeah, okay, here we go. See if you can see this one. Well, this one came out in all in one piece. Let's see if I can get it on the camera. So, yeah. You can't really tell, but you can see that little lip right there. Right there. You don't want to do that because it causes problems. What it does is it causes your brakes to wear uneven. And that problem will only get exacerbated as time goes on. So we don't want that. All right, enough show and tell. Get these brake pads on. So you just hook it on that spring, hook it on the spring. There are a variety of ways to do what I'm about to do. This is just the way I've been taught, the way I like to do it. There's all kind of other little neat tips and tricks. Make sure you're in the S-cam properly. I like to just push down on that, leave this side up, push down on this, make sure it seats. You want to make sure you're seated here and here. And then bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Don't forget these. I've done that, don't do that, that's stupid. There's supposedly a tool that works. I'm gonna try it and see if it's any good. Boss man said, oh man, I got you a nice tool and you ain't even used it yet. So we're about to, oh, okay, how do you even, you need an instruction book or something. Hold on. How does this work? So like this? Is that how it works? I think this is how you do it. You just like squeeze it, maybe? Let's see. Let's see how easy or hard it is. Okay, that's not. There you go. Yeah, I don't like that. Screw that. Let me show you my way. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, I don't like this hole. I usually hook mine at the top, turn this to face the hole, take a screwdriver, Phillips head. You see how it turned on me? Try to do this, okay, hold on. Try to do this like not in the camera, where you can actually see it. But I'll make it to where it's doing something like that, and I kind of work it in. It's a lot easier when I'm not trying to show. Like I said, that's how I do it. It's much easier when you're not trying to show people how to do it. Same thing with the back side. You just turn it. Some old timers will appreciate this take on it. Okay, thank you. And then done. Also too, if you learn it this way, you'll be able to do this on the side of the road. So if you have a brake failure for whatever reason, you will be able to pull. And that's one of the reasons that I do everything with the tools I have in my truck. It's because all I'm doing is practicing how I'm going to do this on the side of the road in the event of a wheel seal failure. So if we have a wheel seal failure, we need to replace it, we can do this on the side of the road. We have a brake failure, we need to replace it, we can do it on the side of the road. So worst case scenario, we're not waiting 6 or 7 hours, waiting on a service truck to show up. We can unhook the truck, if the truck isn't the damaged one. We can unhook the truck, go to Napa or Advanced Auto or wherever, Fleet Pride or wherever, go pick up parts, fix it, be back on the road in a few hours. Because realistically, if I'm not standing around talking and showing things, this can be done in like 45 minutes to an hour. The whole brake job. So if you've got everything sitting there, no time flat. If you include a 30-minute drive, 2 hours. If you're like on it. And if you're not experienced with this and you're kind of guessing the whole time, you can do it in like 3 hours. Which is still half the time that you would be sitting there waiting on a mechanic. All right, how am I gonna do this where I can show you? Actually, screw that, I'm gonna turn you. All right, we're gonna do this. So I gotta get the wheel seal out. I like to do it this way. I like to start it this way. Go ahead and get it. Man, I'll tell you what, as a pry bar, a tire iron is freaking excellent. This weird shape they got on the end is great for all kinds of stuff. So I like to work around, all the way around the edge, break the seal away from the wall a little bit, get it to move. Then, man, it's so annoying. I take the flat side, because this is about to be a royal pain. Anybody that's done these will know. But, see if I can do it where you can see it. It may not be in the way, because I need to be holding this up. If I could do it without falling over, that'd be great. Got it. Now, let's see all that grit and dirt, maybe. Yeah, gotta clean all that crap off and out of the bearing. What we got? So, now the arduous task of cleaning everything. It's already dirty, so I don't even care about setting it down now. Start by wiping my hands off, to try to get any of the existing grit and dirt off of these gloves. Because gloves aren't cheap. I'm trying to waste it. Well, they're not that expensive either, but I'm not getting paid for this job, so I'm not about to waste money on it. I'm doing this as a last favor, and those that know will know what I'm talking about. Actually, you know what? We'll just do a little teaser. Things on the channel are about to change. I don't know if they're going to change for the better, but things are about to change. So, this is just the last favor to the guy, because they've been good to me. I'm not gonna lie, and as you can guess, I'm not staying. So, all right, let's see if I can show you. See how clean that is? No, you can't. Okay, well, kinda. Okay. Anyway, you want to clean that inner race out. Oh no, crap! I about dropped you. Don't do that. Don't do that, Corbin. All right. What was that? Oh yeah. Need to clean the bearing. Let me get the majority of the junk out of the bearing on this first round of wiping. Try to get a lot of that old oil and grease off. I had one of my other drivers comment on my video from yesterday. He's like, "Did you pack them bearings with grease?" I said, "No. Why would I pack these bearings with grease? This is an old bath hub." I'm pretty sure this guy on YouTube, what's his face? Ricky or Bobby, whatever his name is. I don't know, he's a diesel mechanic. He's like, everything is blamed on putting grease in an old bath hub. This is a freaking old bath hub, dadgummit. Like, legitimately, I'm not even being funny. We ain't putting grease in it. All right. Kind of give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like. So, when you're looking at these bearings, you can see on the inside of that race, get to focus. See all those spots? Yeah, that's not good. That means that there has been rust in here, which means either one of two things. Either this trailer sat for a very long time and didn't move, and it developed rust spots, or somebody let it get low of oil and it got hot, and then it sat, causing rust. Now, I don't think it got very hot based off of looking at the spindle. I can't really see any heat marks. I'm actually gonna go back and look. But it's definitely some spots on the sides and bottom. Excuse me, dear Lord. Wow. My nose. Anyway, we're gonna put that back in there to keep it all together, and we're going to use my good old friend WD-40. I use WD-40 for a lot of stuff, but we're going to lubricate these rollers inside the race for a couple of reasons. One is if there is any debris on the inside, we can work it out of there. Because WD-40 is not going to let most debris stick because it's really light oil. So then I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to look at the bearings, see if there's any grit building up anywhere. I'm going to look at the inside race for the same thing. All right, looks pretty good. Also, you'll be able to feel when you're spinning it with a light oil like WD-40, you'll be able to feel as you're spinning it if there's any grit on the rollers. Wheel seal. Where is it? There it is. This is the new fancy boy, all clean and junk. Speaking of clean, let me just do this. Go ahead and start fresh. Well, at least with a relatively clean set of wheels. I didn't want to dig my knife out of my pocket, so we're doing it that way. It comes with a sealant extender or whatever. It's basically just like a silicone grease. At least I think it's a silicone grease. It doesn't actually say. It just says apply to both ID and OD of the seal. for a protective barrier, and a tighter fit. Well, we like tight fits, don't we, boys? The tighter, the better. I'm gonna just leave that right there. Ignore me. Would you open up? Oh no, I tore my glove. All right, screw this. Yuck. Nasty. Yuck. Dry my hands off. My dang nose. All right, this isn't any better. I don't know. What is wrong? No. Go away. Get off of there. Hello? Quit acting like my ex. Get out of here. Go away. Thank you. No. Get off me. I'm definitely putting on some gloves. I gotta spread that crap out with my finger. So we're going to come, get on here. I'm about one more problem away with these gloves. To just say the heck with it. I just need to finish the video. I just need to finish the video. Then I can worry about the gloves. Oh, my nose. I'll take some dang allergy meds too. Dear Lord. I got some in the truck too. That's the sad part. I just ain't going outside to go get them. Well, I did go outside. I went outside to go get these. Y'all are gonna hate me. How long is this video? Golly, we're already an hour and 15 minutes. We'll say editing this is gonna be nice and easy. I ain't gonna have to do crap. No music, no nothing. Just me over here talking to myself. Hopefully, y'all will have made it this far and will start typing in the comments about even the keyboard warriors. I'll take them. All right. Make sure I didn't introduce any grit. 'Tis the enemy of this entire system. It's contaminants. We don't want contaminants. Stay. Okay, close enough. This stuff is like sticky. Well, it's not sticky, it just sticks to things really well. It's a very good grease. I'll give them that. Whoever designed this little tube of grease, they did a good job. Because it is very good at getting everywhere. Which, ironically enough, is exactly what you want for a grease. Crap. Having a hard time holding on to it. It's very slippery. Which, once again, well-designed grease. All right. Got that dealt with. You on here. Way when I grab my hammer, I don't throw my hammer out of my hand. I've definitely never done that before either. So one of the things you might not be able to see on camera is when I'm hitting it, I'm only hitting like the edge all the way around. So that way I don't actually hit the outside ring. I don't want to do any real damage to it. All right, that's done. Let's turn you guys where you can see the rest of the project. That way. Go that way. Stay. Stop. There you go. Yeah. One of the things we did not do was clean this face, but that's okay because we're just now getting there. Where did that emery fades? So we're gonna take this piece of not emery cloth, Scotch-Brite, English. I'm gonna rub that face down. See how much of this is actually attached. Okay. And what we're gonna do is, I guess I'm gonna pull my knife out of my pocket that I didn't want to do because I need to cut that seal off, the rest of that seal off. Having a good pocket knife is quintessential for, well, a lot of stuff, honestly. But for cutting off these little seals, a good sharp knife really makes a difference. A lot of people will use like razor blades or gasket scrapers, which is basically a straight-handled razor blade. I lose those or I tear them up, so I just use my pocket knife. Works great. I'm carrying it around with me anyway. You get used to using it. And if you don't know how to sharpen your pocket knife, like actually like to a razor sharp edge, it would be worth learning because it would just make your life a lot easier. You run into stuff that's like, man, I need a sharp knife. Well, I guess it depends on like who you are and what you do. Sometimes I've had to cut out stuff out of my hands, and doing that with a dull knife really sucks. I've never had to do that either. Definitely not in the woods. Definitely not at work. Maybe I'm just a bad role model at this point. Maybe don't listen to me. I don't know. You might live longer if you don't listen to me, actually. I think about it. Alright, same thing. This one's a lot cleaner because, you know, we took care of it. We didn't like set it down into stuff. So this is going to take a little less cleaning. Like I can already tell that it's in much better shape. It doesn't have all that grit and crap on it. All right. What we're going to do, we're going to slide this guy on. Try to get that bearing on the inside seated. All right. Rude. Slide you in. Now to make sure that this is seated, we're going to take our main nut. What we're going to do is we're going to clean it up a little bit. We don't want, once again, we don't want to introduce any kind of contaminants if we don't have to. When you're working with internal parts of any variety, cleanliness is very important. Don't be afraid to waste money on, it's not a waste, paper towels are cheap. Don't ever look at them as a waste. Still got that weird hitch that I don't like. See if I can work it out. Don't know what's causing that. It's just barely hanging up. All right, so we want to make sure this sucker is seated, so we're going to tighten this sucker up as much as we can. I wish I had an actual proper Duma blobby, whatever these things are called, wrench, socket, something to tighten this up properly. It'll be real nice, but we don't. So we're gonna make do. Tighten it as much as you can, and be careful on this step. Don't hit anything too hard. But we're gonna check. Let's see. Rotate it. It's gonna be very stiff. It's kind of what we want. We want to make sure the sucker is fully seated all the way to the rear. But now that we've got it seated, we're going to back it off until it's free. Not too free. You see, just like that. Got some good spin to it. It'll run a little bit after you let go. Because we don't want any kind of play, if at all possible. Now you can get these too tight and you'll have this whole hub burn up. It's not that tight. Part of it not spinning as freely as it did before we took it off is because now the seal is actually tight and it is up against everything. Oh yeah, parts. Clean your pieces. Some people pre-oil their internals. Sometimes they go ahead and fill up the hub. I don't think that's necessary. If anything, I would actually prefer it not to be pre-done. And the reason I say that, got a little burr on here. The reason I say I prefer it not to already be done is I want to run the hydraulic oil or the gear oil for the hub or the hub oil, whatever you're using. I want to run it through the bearing and spin the bearing, not go ahead and have this thing like packed with grease or any of that other junk that people do. Because here's the reality. If you pack this with grease, this is my main reason for not wanting to do that. If you pack this bearing, like this bearing right here with grease, and you fill this hub up, you fill the hub oil cap up, how are you going to get oil to go from your hub cap where you fill it from through the bearing into the main hub? If you've got grease in the way, you're not going to. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down the road with grease in your bearing, and the little bit of oil that you have in here is going to spill into here. And you're going to be low, and you're going to be continuously filling up your hub for the next like week, when you could just fill it up, let it be full, check on it in like 2 or 3 days, really check it on it after the first full day. So if I get this thing finished, today's Sunday, if I finish this thing up today and then hit the road tomorrow, at my first fuel stop around lunch, I'll check, make sure all my hubs are good. Now this axle won't ever be able to be checked until I get loaded. But regardless, same concept. Well, oh yeah. Because nothing ruins a spindle and hub combo faster than no oil. Now with this particular style of hub nut lock, wheel seal, wheel nut lock, with this particular style, when you tighten this nut down, you're going to want to double check your tightness on your bearing. Because what you're doing is you're shoving this bearing, or this nut, into the main bearing. And you're causing more pressure and more tension. So like, I'm gonna have to back it off and rotate this nut back one more time, because it's not free enough. It's not like the other style, because once you set it, you set it and forget it. Like, it's done. This time, I'm gonna have to back this off enough to get that ring lock off. Back it off one more time, go to another mark, tighten it back down. Let's see if that's enough. Because we're not even moving much. Like, this nut is pushing this rear nut. The front locking nut is pushing the rear bearing nut like maybe a few thousandths. But that's enough. That's what we wanted right there. That's enough to change how tight this is. So don't be afraid to do what you got to do, tighten it, double check it, and then roll with it. Fix it if you need to. All right, next is we got to lock this. Where did my flathead go? Okay, where did my flathead go? Oh, there it is. Ooh, can I tighten it up a little bit more? I don't like, no, we got one. Don't forget, don't introduce grit and other contaminants, even at this stage. I about forgot. I about messed up. I about didn't even take my own words of advice and warning. These little tabs, you just bend them over. Personally, if you get 1 or 2 tabs, that's plenty. It doesn't take much to lock this nut down. And honestly, you don't want much because you don't want to keep bending these tabs over and over. So, the fewer tabs you can bend, the longer your locking washer is going to last. All right, let's go get the hub. The hubcap. We already have it. You know what I just realized I didn't do? I didn't do an intro for this video. This video turned into more than I really expected it to be honest with you. I was not intending on doing a talking video while I was working. I was just going to do a little bit of B-roll. All right, now get in there. I was going to do a little bit of B-roll and maybe do a voiceover later. But then at some point I just started talking. If I'm laughing at myself, does that mean I'm going crazy? I'm over here literally just having this 2-hour-long conversation, or hour and a half, or however long this stupid video is. Conversation. With myself. Laughing at my own jokes. Calling myself an idiot. Well, I do that regularly anyway. Never mind, that's not new. Well, maybe that's a sign. Maybe it is a sign. So when you're putting the nuts back in your hubcap, put them all in first and get them started before you tighten any of them down, because the hubcap and your hub may not be the same. So you want to make sure that you can get all of them in. I've run into cases where I got into too much of a hurry and tightened everything down to realize that half of the nuts didn't fit. They weren't lined up properly. So, and they weren't off by much, but it was enough that because I had already tightened them down, there wasn't enough wiggle room to get them started. So I had to loosen everything, which isn't a huge deal, it's just annoying. I was frustrated with the inconvenience. Now we'll get some hub oil and I will fill this sucker up with some oil. Then we'll put the drum and tire back on. That way while we're doing that, it's settling, getting off in there. And then we'll double check it. So one of my methods of torquing these nuts down is I get it to where it moves and then give it a good, like, aggressive quarter turn. So get it to where it's tight enough to move, 1/8 of a turn, quarter turn, whatever. Let's say about a quarter turn. And that gets it about right. It's tight enough that you can seal everything off, but not so tight that you're over tightening the bolt. That's an experience thing. I don't expect anybody to actually be able to do that on first go. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know what your skill levels are. You may be a pro with this, you may be a professional, but I feel like if you're a professional, you're probably not watching this video at this point. I mean, if you are, then I appreciate that. But if you're not, then It's not really who it's targeted towards. Because I'm more of a shade tree at best. Where did my others? I swear, I spend more time asking, where is this, than actually working sometimes. These little buggers right here are nice. I don't care what anybody says. They know what a bulk dump material, or in this case, oil. Freaking fantastic. So I don't know if you can see it in the video. Kinda. You see it draining. But it's a slow process, and it took it a second to go through the bearing, which is kind of the whole point. It would have just filled up and stayed there had I put the grease in the bearings. One more full fill. We'll cap it off, and we'll cap it off, spin it one good time, then put the drum on. And drum and tires and crap. And then if we need to top it off, we will. I'm almost certain we're gonna have to top it off, to be totally honest with you. All that oil worked in there. All right. Do that, grab the new drum. Anybody that does semi-drums or semi-brakes will know it's freaking crap heavy. All right. Hey, look, almost perfectly lined up. First try. Look at that. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. That was pure luck. I'm not even claiming that. I don't know what I'm doing. That was pure luck. All right, let's grab the rest of this stuff out of from under here. Since I decided to dump everything out, let's throw that away. I don't need that. I don't need that. These little brake kits, or these rebuild kits, come with more stuff than I actually need. So it's not a bad thing. So it's like for different models and whatnot. So that way you've got, if you need extra space or extra clips or a different type of clip, you have that option. So I do appreciate the newer use. I appreciate the options. It's just a bunch of junk. I wish they would separate them into like pairs, like one kit for one set and one for the other. Just a personal preference more than anything. Get everything away. When I put these tires on, I ain't got to do crap. Put my little spacer back on. All this is for is to keep the aluminum wheels from sticking to the steel. Because believe it or not, aluminum will weld itself to steel, and it is a stronger weld than like a steel to steel connection. And it just oxidizes together, and it is. You'll wind up tearing stuff up trying to separate them. I've seen it happen. I've seen people pull the whole spindle off the axle, just the whole unit, the whole hub comes off. It's kind of wild, just to get a tire off. The part I've been dreading. I'm lazy. I've gotten lazy. Where did my tire iron go? Oh, there it is. Here, go this way. No, stay. I messed up. I put it up here. No, I can't leave. All right, what are we gonna do? All right, we got this. We got this. Look, we're just gonna manhandle it. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna manhandle it. I'm sure my back is gonna regret. He's gonna love me later after all this. can't see. You know what? Okay, it stayed. That's close enough. Just need to get enough to get my tire iron. Well, it was close, actually. It wasn't that far off. Better than I thought, honestly. Come on. There we go. Where's my valve stem? Valve stem is here. I need to put the valve stem there. You don't have to necessarily put a valve stem in a certain place. I just do because it's easy to find when I'm hunting for my valve stems to air up my tires or just to check my tires. So I like to cross them up where they're directly across from each other. Just a personal preference. All right, now what am I doing wrong? Clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I see a problem. What the? I'm so confused. What the heck's going on? That does not put it directly across. I turned it the wrong way. Oh yeah, for those of you that are not aware, you can use your tire iron to spin your tire around. I will say that sped up video, the time lapse I did yesterday, made me look like a much better mechanic than I actually am. Well, I mean, I guess that's true too, because I'm not a mechanic. Not a mechanic. I don't know how many people I'm about to piss off with this, but I like to seat my rims and tires manually. You'll understand here in a second what I'm talking about. So I don't like to take an impact and just like cinch up the tires. I like to put two nuts on it, right across from each other, and continue to hand tighten them until the tire and rim are completely seated. And the reason I like to do that is because sometimes they're not totally seated properly, and you'll go to tighten them down, and while it is rare that it happens where, you know, your lug nuts will come loose because the tires haven't been seated properly or the rims haven't been seated properly, it does happen often enough that it's worth the extra minute or two to just do it right the first time, the old-fashioned way, seating the tires. Well, maybe it's not even old-fashioned, maybe it's just my way. Because that way I know for a fact that these rims are not crossed up. It's just the little things like that that I think really make the difference on, you know, taking care of your equipment, honestly. Because this stuff is expensive. Well, this is probably a $500,000 trailer, you know. Like, we want to take care of it as best we can. Well, at least I do. I don't know about other people, but I want to take care of my equipment as much as I can. The reason I'm in here doing a rebuild, you know. Because the company would have pushed it off. This is not even my trailer. It's a company vehicle, company trailer. They would have pushed it off and waited just to save some money, just like most companies. So, come on. Nothing against them, I understand. You know, we've got new trailers coming. I mean, they're in the process of building some new trailers right now. But it's going to be another 6, 7, 8 months before we get them. So there's no sense in delaying some proper. No sense in delaying proper maintenance. You know, doing the best you can with what you got. You know. Where did they grind your? Oh, there's. Yeah. I could just go get the other battery, but then I have to walk all the way across the shop. I don't want to do that. Now I'm really about to piss a bunch of folks off. Alright, so that's done. Now what we're going to do is put the slack adjuster in. Put the slack adjuster in. Ah, crap, I forgot to, well, that's annoying. Forgot to turn it to where my plug was facing up. I guess I'll just fill it up that way. Man, that was annoying. Should have done that. Should have paid attention. But yeah, we're not even at the add line. It is out. Still drinking up that oil. We done filled that reservoir up twice. Plus some. Oh no. Wait a mess. Oh well. This truck needs a wash anyway. The whole truck trailer needs a wash. Man. Put this back in. We'll leave that. We'll add more later if necessary. Probably necessary. And I'm gonna show you the shiny. Look at this sexy beast. Pull these dang cotter pins out because I'm going to reuse them. I'm going to use the new cotter keys. Not cotter peas. Sound like a Pokemon coming out over here. Take the cotter keys out. Use the pins on the cotter keys for the new installation. And I'm going to not use that because I don't want to take it out. They're not that wore out anyway. I'm gonna move you guys. Hold on. Oh, you can see what's going on. I'm gonna put you back in the other spot. Bring my dang tripod back down. Hope you guys don't get dizzy. or I guess not dizzy, but motion sick. I'm sure it's terrible right now. I don't know, I may cut this part out, who knows. If it makes it in, then, you know, consider yourself lucky or blessed or whatever, I don't know. All right, let's try this. I'll do that. Okay, now I need to turn you guys down like so, question mark? Yeah, you can see that. There we go. Yeah, this is gonna be a 2-hour video. I don't know if I'm gonna cut any of it out or not. I mean, you may just get what you get, because I don't know if I want to spend that much time editing. Oh yeah. Okay, so it does grease through there. Yeah. So we'll put you on. Okay. I need to put on these bushings, or bushings. So we're gonna need that guy. Is that the right size? You always want to check your snap ring size, because there's 2 sizes in here. There's a thick one and a thin one, and I couldn't remember which one actually fits. Definitely the thin one. Which is kind of a problem, because I don't have whatchamacallums, snap ring pliers that are that small. Okay. There's that. Make sure I turn it correctly. Slide that on. There's that. Man, I wish I had some more of those. I don't like how much slack there is right there. One for each side, I guess. Let's do 2 of them. Call it a day, I guess. Man. So in the event that you don't have the proper size snap ring pliers, never fear. There's a solution. May not be a good solution, but it's a solution, and it works. So it's good enough. I don't necessarily like doing it, because it does kind of suck, but would you go away? Here, I got crap on the way. This crap is keeping me from my full potential. My unrealized skills as a mechanic. So one of the things I like to do is go ahead and seat one side, if at all possible, and then grab a pair of pliers, grab the other side of it. I go ahead and start it, and use said pliers to bend it around just ever so slightly. You just need to flex a little bit. Just enough to get it started and get it on there. Then once you get it on there, well, I'm glad that wasn't my finger, because that pinched my glove off. Then you just tap it back until it seats. And there you go. Now, you're going to want to take your handy dandy little brake slack adjuster tool. You're going to turn it so your pin lines up. Your main pin, your big pin. This guy. I like to go from outside in, so that way my cotter pins. That way my cotter pins are on the inside. So that way, whenever in the event I need to remove either the pins or replace the cotter keys. I can do so easily without having to fight. Now your slack adjuster pin, your small one, it should just like go right in. It's okay. Being a pain is what it is. That don't fit. I'm too big for this. Come on. Get in there. Thank you. Whew. That sucked. Come on. Get off in there, please. Thank you. Come on. Come. Come here, you. Get off in there. In case you're wondering, yes, commentation, having some commentary definitely makes your mechanicking skills better. Things do what you tell them to whenever you talk to them nicely or threaten them. I don't know, threatening has mixed results. Speaking nicely seems to be a little more No! Wait, it's right there, okay. I dropped it. But it's okay, because we didn't drop it far. Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Gotta straighten it out. Come on, behave. Thank you. Didn't fully straighten it because I was like, oh, I'm about to bend it back out. No sense in weakening the material. So the more you bend the metal, the weaker it gets. Okay, we are installed. Now, I'm not actually going to be able to adjust any of these brakes until I put air to it. So do note that that is still a task that needs to be done. But that side is completely and totally rebuilt. So, yeah. Get this guy. So next time you get ready to build your, I'm sure my face is terrible. Next time you get ready to rebuild a spindle or an axle or a hub or do brakes or anything like that, you can just refer back to this video and bada bing, bada boom, it works. Y'all have a good one, and we'll catch you next time.